Hey guys, what's up? It's 412 Sports Cards here today, back with another video. And today I'm going to be talking to you guys about speculating on team success, but in a safer manner. So with the new season underway, card investors are eager to speculate on the success of teams that are overperforming or have a lot of hype going into the season. And it's natural to flock to the younger rookies on those squads when you're doing this, but for those of you who want a safer bet, I've got a strategy for you. So we're going to walk through two examples today and give you some insights on speculating on team success and also some other nuggets along the way. So let's get into it. Example number one, the Phoenix Suns. So with their incredible play in the bubble and the addition of Chris Paul, the Phoenix Suns were propelled to new heights this season. The respect in the sports card market has grown with it. For most people, the go-to play was Devin Booker. And he was the youngest player on the team with the most star potential. His base prism went from about $800 in late October to $1,000 following the CP3 trade in mid-November, and is sitting around $1,250 at the start of the season and falling to about $975 as of now. So that's a lot of movement. And the price drop is probably because he's averaging 21 points to start the season compared to 26 last year. And, I mean, that's a little bit of a drop-off, but people just had high hopes for him to start producing more alongside of the playmaking that CP3 was going to bring to the table. And even though he's shooting more efficiently, I'm not sure that the card market necessarily respects that as much as it does some other stuff. So the point I'm trying to make here is not that, like, young stars like Devin Booker, their cards will always be falling, and that is a reason you shouldn't be touching those guys when you want to speculate on team success. It's just to show how fickle those card markets are. The team is killing it, and his shooting more efficient. His points are down just a little bit, but the card market's like, whoa, they're pumping the brakes on him, and it doesn't make a ton of sense, but that's just how fickle the market is on a lot of guys, especially younger guys. So if you don't like that, you aren't active enough in cards maybe to capitalize on those fast swings, I'd advise to bet on the Suns' success instead with the cards of this man, Chris Paul. So Chris Paul, besides maybe DeAndre Ayton, probably has the most attention on this squad. Just like Booker, it's safe to imagine his cards are going to move up in price if the Suns continue to post a good year. And unlike Booker, I would expect this card to be less volatile. So, I mean, take a look at this card. We're looking at his 2005 Topps Chrome rookie. So, I mean, it's an older issue. It's a year after that LeBron back there. But it's a nice card. Not a ton of these at all in the PSA Pop Report. I believe it's shy of 200, both in 10 and 9. So, not a ton of them at all. But I think I'll get into that more later. But Chris Paul's career greatness is going to serve against a protection against downward price movement, and even after maybe a couple poor games, it's definitely a cushion on the downside that he has a lot more than Devin Booker if you think about it theoretically. And huge games, you wouldn't expect to catapult his prices as much, right? Because he's already done his career. He's on the tail end of his career. It's been a Hall of Fame great career, and unlike Devin Booker, him posting a couple good games doesn't mean that we have hope for the next 10 years that he could be a better player now because we've seen a glimpse of what he could be. We already know what he is. So those aren't as big of factors. They're not going to move his prices as much. But what this does mean is that CP3 is more of a bet on team success. That the personal play factor in his price movement should be a lot less, right? And I think his prices at the moment are correlated a lot more to team success, which is kind of what you want. So it seems like more of a pure team success play. Seems like you have a higher percentage of that as like a risk factor that could drive price changes. That's most of what this card seems to me. Also, it's just a nice old card, and old rookies are of like Hall of Famers or soon to be Hall of Famers are really cool in my opinion. So I do like buying these. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little biased towards older cards like this. Pricing, interestingly enough, most of what I said is just theory. And the PSA 10 Booker and Chris Paul have moved together in the past 2 months. They both swung up on the CP3 trade and both sit around 1,000 now. And that said, the pop of the CP3 is about 194 on the 10 compared to 1283 on the Booker. Both are relatively low, but the Paul is obviously a lot less. There are a ton more out there. They're just not graded. And I know the prices are about the same, but you got to ask yourself the question: does it make more sense to buy a Chris Paul rookie in a 10 or a Devin Booker rookie in a 10, the same price? You got one of the greatest point guards of all time on one hand, or you've got the hope that this other guy could become. I honestly think it's the hope that he could even become as good as Chris Paul is what all the pricing hype is about. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think a lot of guys like Chris Paul are critically undervalued. Now, anyways, I do think that the market is slowly rationalizing more, and as more money and more attention is spent on the market, you should see these prices rationalize a little bit more, and I think some of this hype might die down. That's just a speculation pick, though, of mine. That said, it can be fun to gamble on younger guys, and I'm doing it with Mikal Bridges. He may never be a big hobby fixture, but I believe that if he continues to progress on offense alongside his elite defense, I think he could be great. I don't know if anyone watched that game. It was a while back now. The Mavs-Suns game near the beginning of the season. It might have been the opening game for those teams. He played great defense on Luka Doncic, and it was really inspiring. And he's a very good player. I've been watching him for a couple years, but this is a nice card of his. Speculating in safer stuff, it's a safer card, and it's just a smaller bet. So it's fun. Having majority of my money is in the safer bet, and I still have some money speculating on individual player success, but it's a little cheaper. Anyways, if you made it this far, just a quick plug. Drop a like, drop a sub if you've been watching this video. I really appreciate it. It helps out the channel a ton, and I can't thank you enough. But anyways, we'll get into example 2. Try to speed it up a little here. Talk about the Blazers. So they're less popular than the Suns, obviously, to speculate on. But the bubble did get a little hype behind the Blazers. They made the bubble playoffs. They beat the Grizzlies in the play-in. They got to play the Lakers. Guys like Dame Lillard's cards went berserk. Obviously, we know those came down, but excuse me. Anyways, interestingly enough, there aren't a ton of young rookies on Portland. You got like Nasir Little and you got like Anthony Simons, but none of them's getting a ton of time. And that leaves you with established guys like Dame, CJ, and Melo. Obviously, Dame and Melo, the biggest career names, but I think Melo has, an incredible Hall of Fame resume and is relevant on the team despite his age. He's averaged 15 points a game last year, which is not an insignificant amount. 12.5 so far this year. Big news, I think, for him, in addition to him being a component of team success, is he's 17th all-time on the NBA scoring list, and I think reasonably a lot of people expect that he could move as high as 13th on that list this year, passing the likes of Oscar Robertson and Hakeem Olajuwon, which is insane. As a scorer, I like his chance to rise to team success. He's definitely an offense-first guy, which is something that the hobby likes a lot. I think maybe he's a good bet on team success because he's had limited postseason success himself. He hasn't had a ton of postseason runs. And I think that if the Blazers can make a little bit of a run, it might get some of the hype going behind Melo, who's previously had trouble making it deep in the playoffs. So maybe a playoff series win or two could help be a catalyst. So I think that's a nice reason that Melo's a good bet on team success on the Blazers. Same type of play as CP3, except he seems even more undervalued. PSA 10s are up at about 550 right now, and the 9 has been steady around 150 for the last little bit. He's much cheaper than CP3, which is interesting, considering he's amassed so many points and the hobby loves scorers. But in summary, I guess I just want to say, investing in underappreciated Hall of Famers who play large roles, or underappreciated future Hall of Famers who play large roles on their squads, seems to be a nice way, if you choose wisely, to speculate on team success, because I think their prices are less based on individual performance and more based upon legacy building and team success in the shorter run. I think it's a nice play. I think it's something that people don't talk about, and I hope you guys check it out. Maybe let me know if you like this play and like this way of thinking. But anyways, I'll catch you next time.